Yo, sup everybody, today I'm gonna share my current Barbarian Sentinel tank build with you. Let's not talk too much around and let's go over the gear. I'm still capping out my awareness, that's why I'm still using the helmet. I'm still using the Abyss Conqueror's Provoker's Cuirass just for the critical avoidance, awareness and stamina gain. This thing is a AP gist, it's really interesting. Let's face it, most of the time as a tank you are literally at the ass of nowhere and no DPS will go over there just to grab a ball. Definitely not. Mostly not happening. Let's go over to the arms. Unlike on Pally, I'm using the legendary versions just because of the defense stats and the additional awareness. They do literally the same, it's just a little bit less item level, but they give me 5% defense. For weapons, I'm going with a Void Touched for the 6% reduced incoming damage. You could also use Mastercraft. The new weapons are not really interesting because the effect is just weird and only useful on AoE, and even then the cooldown is a little bit too long. For boots, it's the same as on my Paladin. I'm using the Crushers for the 5% defense, and especially since I didn't have another pair of boots in my bags. For artifacts, I'm currently running 3 stamina artifacts and my Tarokka deck to basically use my Wistani set to increase the group's damage. Same goes for the Grace Ring, it's just for the debuff on the boss. I'm using the Dreadbreaker Hoop for A, its stats, and B, the increase of my forte. For pants and shirts, I'm running my Bloodwoven brands and the other Bloodwoven brands. The fuck? Let's not talk about this. This is fine. I thought they had a different name. That's on me. The shirt itself doesn't really matter too much. It's just for the set bonus for the 2% awareness. The thing that's really important is the pants for the 5% defense if I get a bigger hit. If you don't have them, you're still good with a shirt from MLMD that gives you 5% crit avoidance when you get hit, and the Seal Winner pants that give you 5% defense when your group is far apart from you. And that's definitely most of the time the case in MSOD or ASOD. For the stats, I swapped a little bit around. Since I don't need too much stamina regen in MSOD, I decided to go with Charisma and Constitution instead of Strange and Constitution. This is completely fine. You will get enough stamina, it doesn't really matter. If we go over the enchantments, it's the same deal like with a Paladin build. Just because I use these enchantments, you don't necessarily have to use the same enchantments. I like to cap my stats out just because most of the time we are spread apart, far away from each other, so I like to be kept all the time. The only thing I really like to mention is the Flash Freeze again. It gives a massive debuff. Look, what's up with that number? It seems a little bit bugged, but it's fine. It gives a massive debuff on the outgoing damage of the boss. It's way better than that fortified nature everybody thinks is fine to run around with. It's not helping you, it's not helping the group. If we go over to the mounts, we have pack tactics as always for combat advantage for the DPS, awareness for the tanks. Last time I ran my Barbie tank I had the Eclipse line on. It could also be the Undead Lion, the Swarm or whatever depending on what the group needs you to run. For my insignia bonuses, I'm running a Gladiator's Guile for stamina and movement speed, a Lionheart's Perseverance. Sorry, my tongue was stuck between my teeth. I don't cut this out just because. And 3 times Guardian Spirit. It's self-explaining, this bonus. You want 3 of them, else it wouldn't be useful to run 1 or 2. You want the maximum amount you can get out of it, be it on the defense game, be it on the hit points. For my companions, I'm running a Dugger to cap out my critical avoidance. Raptor, we need it. Or to say it a little bit better, the DPS needed to cap out their power. Slime for defense, my Lich for reduced incoming damage, and Rasmodar just to cap out my defense, and it procs really fast. If we just close this for a second and take a reach of potions, You see in my buff bar how it slowly procs up. Now we are at 2, 3, and we get the 4 stack immediately. And since you get healed all the time, it will be up all the time. If we go over the companion gear itself, I'm using still 3 times the same piece from Mountain of Flame. I don't really bother to replacing them right now. Maybe in a later build, but not now. As my enhancement, I had armor break on as always on a tank, so this nearly never changes. At least not in MSOD. You will have boost, tanks and armor break to have it up all the time, especially at the Zoro gears. Adrian, I was last time running Adrian. It could also have been a Tudor, a Flapjack, or any other support companions. If we go over to the boons, it's literally the same as on my Paladin tank. The only thing I really like to mention are these 3 boons. Oh, I missed 2 points, but that doesn't really matter. Let's not talk about this 2 points. Shit happens, that's a way of life. I use them to basically increase the effect of my reach of potions. I mostly ends up with a rune at the ass of literally nowhere, so I'm happy about every healing I can get. And since the reach of potions heal me over time, it's nice to increase their effect overall. Last but not least, let's go over the powers. And this is basically a little bit more complex as on the Paladin. On top, I will use Sure Strike for stamina regen, Sentinel Slash to block, generate a little bit threat, and also it procs the Withani set. For encounters, come and get it, self-explaining, just for the little bit threat. Enduring Shout to increase my hit points shortly before the tank buster hits. Takedown to increase the physical damage if we have melees and stuff in the queue. Dailies, the only daily that really matters for you is Battle High, but only if you also have the feat in. So it increases your allies' hit points by 15% during Hypo. For class features, Trample the Fallen, it procs with every of your control powers. So you have a steady buff even if your timing is a little bit off. The thing is, if you use your takedown while you're still in rage, it gets an additional bonus of 5%. Sometimes you fuck this up, doesn't really matter. Trample the Fallen also puts another 5% on top. Since I'm a little bit low on item level due to my set and drinks, I'm using my vitality on top for the 10% more hit points. But if we go to the bottom, I swap class features. First of all, bravery just for the movement speed. It's nice to be a little bit faster. Still Trample the Fallen, just for the damage increase. Come and get it, self-explaining, just to pull in the threat. Takedown to increase my group's damage. And not so fast. If you have your feat in. If you use it, it increases the movement speed of your group, so you are faster down there. That literally helps a fucking lot. For Edwards, still Sure Strike for stamina, but I'm using Challenger Slash for a little bit more threat generation. It's all literally nearly self-explaining. The dailies down there doesn't really matter, but since you're a Barbie with high magnitude dailies, it's kind of fun to use them down there. Just make sure you have your daily back when you're back on top for the hypo. And that's basically it. That's my barbarian build as it is of today. Thanks everybody for watching. See you in the next video. Sorry for that few words that may be a little bit weird, but shit happens. That's the way of life. Till later.